I'm Tom Vassell, and this is my daughter,
Melody.
and we are two people who really love board games, card games, all types of games, and we're here to tell you about our top 100. But this is exciting because we're in our top 25 now. These are just games that will titillate your senses, just make you breathe fun, absolutely phenomenal, wonderful games. Let's get to these great games. We're going to do 5 of Melody's and 5 better ones of mine.
Hey! Number 25, Ascension.
Ascension is a popular deck building game, which is done in the same vein as Dominion, but instead of having set cards that you draw to build your deck with, there's cards that are face up in the middle that you can buy to put into your hand, or you can kill with military might. You have cards that provide military, you have cards that provide money. You use both of these to buy and to kill. When you buy a card, you add it to your deck. You'll be using it as the game progresses. When you kill something, you get points for that, and you'll be adding those in front of you. And again, the card is replaced. As the game progresses, once the points run out, or the deck runs out, you add up all the points on cards and all the points that you've gotten from killing monsters, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
I really like this game because it's a deck making game, and I like making decks because you get to buy more stuff and kill more creatures. It's a fun game, and like Dominion, I really like it because it's a deck making game. I love deck making games. Number 25, Ghost Stories.
Well, here we go. This game really shot up in the rankings for me this year. It's now my favorite cooperative game. A lot of that is because of the expansion for Ghost Stories allows so much more action. Instead of just fighting off the ghosts, which is hilarious fun, it's the aspect that you're trying to save villagers in the game too. I don't know what it is about Ghost Stories. It's not the most complex of the cooperative games. There's nothing really that innovative about it, but it's just fun. As wave after wave after wave of ghosts come in, you just keep fighting them off and fighting them off and fighting them off and fighting them off. And it seems like they're never going to stop. And then even if you lose, it's one of those games you just want to go back and play again right away. I really like Ghost Stories. Fantastic fun.
Number 24, Dominion.
We're just not going to open up the box of Dominion and pull out the hundreds of cards that are inside to set it up and show it to you now. But Dominion is a game, if you haven't heard about it now, a game in which you're building a deck of cards, like you would for many collectible card games, but the cards that you're building this deck from are the same cards that everybody else is pulling from. And each game uses only about 15 different cards, and 10 of those cards will change from game to game. And so you're building a deck that you will use as the game progresses and buying cards that are worth points, but that are worthless to you during the course of the game. Go check out my Dominion review for a complete way of how to play this game, but it is a fun deck building game.
This is a fun game because, like I said in Ascension, it's a deck building game. I love deck building games. But this game, you can play bad cards on people and actually get to buy points and use cards to get points. And the black market card is the coolest card to me because you get to get a different card than everybody else that they can't get that card, and you get to use it specially, and it's just a fun game to play. Number 24, El Grande.
El Grande! Yet another game that's been on my list for 6 years, but El Grande is just one of those games that just has a solid feel to it. El Grande is a game that I will play time and time and time and time again. El Grande is an area control game, which means I'm trying to get more things into each area on the board than everyone else. Now, there are piles of games like that, although there's a lot fewer of them these days than there once was. But El Grande is the granddaddy of them all. It may not have been the first, but it's definitely the best. It's a game in which very cutthroat. You're taking other people's cubes out of an area to put your own in, trying to have the most, having cubes in a hidden area that's revealed at the end of the game. All of this in the background of taking over Spain, it's fun. And so I present to you a great game here, El Grande.
Number 23, Pony Express.
In Pony Express, you're moving your cowboy down a path, and you move him by rolling some poker dice. And depending on what combination you roll, depends on how far you can move. But the cool thing is after you roll, you don't have to show people what you've rolled. You just tell them what you rolled. Of course, you could lie like all get out, Well, then they might challenge you, and if they're correct, then they get to move that far rather than you. Moving around the track lets you steal, get gold nuggets that you'll use to pay for things. You might get thrown in jail. Sometimes you might have a duel with another character. When that happens, you'll place both cowboys at either end and you'll flick the discs at each other. Or sometimes you have to fight the Indians, in which case we line them up like bowling pins and you flick the disc trying to see how many of them you can knock down. So there's dexterity in the game, and it's really just a silly game overall.
I really like this game because you're moving your cowboys around to get to the treasure chest, the first one to be the treasure chest, and you're also dueling with other cowboys, trying to get the Indians so they don't get you, and it's just fun, a fun way to play this game. Number 23, Race to the Galaxy.
This is the third year in a row that Race for the Galaxy has been on my list. It's a great, fantastic card game. It's dropped down some, and that's mostly because I'm finding myself playing other card games, especially the deck-building games, instead of Race for the Galaxy, but that doesn't make it any less fun. Race for the Galaxy, a very enjoyable game about building a space empire. There's lots of expansions for it, I think 4 of them now, and you just, basically, you're not even really playing with the other players, you're just doing your own thing, but it's very entertaining and very interesting as you try to build the best combo as possible with the cards in the game. A very strategic, good, groundbreaking game, Race for the Galaxy.
Number 22, Orders Up.
Guess Check's a very simple game. You'll have a check, and this is what you want for your order. And so you're going to roll different dice. These dice may allow you to take something in the middle if it's on your card. Here's spaghetti. Yay, I have spaghetti in my card. Sometimes it's something that's wild, like special today I can put anywhere, and I'm just trying to be the first one to do my card. Many times the thing that you'll roll will show the bell. At that point, you want to be the first to ring the bell, and then you get the tile that you want. And so that's basically all it is, a speed game, trying to match different things to your recipe.
Don't get confused with that one.
Yeah, that one says don't ring the bell.
Because if you do, then you lose the food. I like this game because it has a dinging bell. You get to hit the bell and it dings. You don't want to hit at the wrong time though, because then you'll lose the food. But it's fun because you get to get the different types of food put on your menu, and trying to keep your food to make sure it doesn't swap with the other person. And it's a fun game to play. Number 22, Summer Wars.
Every year I add new games to my list, and sometimes the games go pretty high. Well, this is the highest this year that a new game is going to be added to the list, and that is Summoner Wars, entering in at number 22. That is a respectable place because it is a respectable game. And what's so fantastic about Summoner Wars that it's made by some small guy who started a publishing house just to get at this game. Summoner Wars is a little card game in which you put cards on the table and they are your army, and you're trying to destroy your enemy's summoner. And you do that by rolling dice and moving around. The cards have special abilities, but it's the fact that you use your deck to deploy your characters, to do different spells, and actually to get more cards in your hand. And it all fits together in a 30-minute game that feels very tight and very balanced. There's already 6 different factions with more coming out all the time, and it's really just a great, great effort. Probably my choice for Game of the Year last year, and it's good enough to make my top 100. It's a game, even if you're not a big fantasy fanatic, I think this one might be for you. Summoner Wars.
Number 21, Tobago.
Tobago is a bit of a deductive game. What you're doing is you're driving your little car around the island looking for treasure, but you don't know where each of 4 different treasures could be. But players are playing cards. For example, this says the treasure is not on a water spot. Well, this one says the treasure is at least one space next to the largest group of trees that are on the island. This one here says that it's 1 or 2 spaces away from the ocean. So as you do this, you're eventually going to narrow down exactly where the treasure is, and once a player figures that out, they will go and draw treasure along with everybody else who helped provide clues. So there's 2 aspects to this game. There's a deduction, and then there's almost a kind of a push your luck as players try to get the best treasure that they can. There's other aspects to the game, but it's pretty neat and it's a very beautiful looking game.
Mostly because of its beautiful artwork and the pieces for the palm trees and the statues are really beautifully made. And I like moving the car around, hunting down the treasure. And it's fun of how you play cards to find out where the treasure is. It's a fun game to play. Number 21, Wallenstein.
Wallenstein was once in my top 10, and other games have pushed it out perhaps, but it's still a great game. Wallenstein is fun because it comes with a cube tower, which looks like a dice tower, in which you drop cubes. When you fight as an army, instead of rolling dice, you throw your cubes into this tower, and whoever's cubes comes out wins. It's a pretty neat, ingenious device, but it's put on top of a very layered strategic area control game, where you're trying to control different parts of Germany. If you like Risk, this is a game that's much more enjoyable, and yet will give you the same kind of feel, but at the same time, when you end it, you feel like you've done so because you've out-strategized everyone else. Wallenstein. Well, thanks for watching 5 more of our reviews. We really appreciate everyone who's watched these reviews. We really appreciate those who click the links here. That really helps us out and gives us the advantage. This is still ongoing while our son is in the hospital, my first son of 7 children. Jack is in the hospital, and we appreciate all those of you who sent nice emails and prayers about that.
Pray.
But thank you for watching. Next time, we get into our top 20.
Woo!
Tune into our next show for more Top 10 gaming goodness, or check out our website at www.thedicetower.com for more reviews and Top 10 lists. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.